Hi guys, here today to continue the Minor Arcana series with our Cups suit here today. So we're trucking along. I'm going to try to do one per day or something just to give myself some pacing here. But anywho, we're moving on to the Two of Cups today. And it looks like this. So the Two of Cups is Venus in Cancer and is the Lord of Love. And so the Two of Cups is very, very self-explanatory. Again, this is kind of why I have been hesitant to do some of these videos because some of the minors are just so simple. The two really simply represents the union or attraction of opposites, and it's sort of on a smaller scale than something like in, say, the Lovers card, which is really about the distinct separation of opposites and the resulting attraction of that polarity, which is sort of fleshed out fully in I consider it in more in Arcanum 11 Strength, or Lust, in which that polar attraction is really capitalized on, I guess. And it isn't until Temperance or Art where those two forces really become melded into the same thing and are therefore balanced more. But anywho, all that aside, the Two of Cups is simply about an attraction, really. And I think it's best to look at the two as an attraction and not necessarily as a literally erotic thing or a romantic thing, because the Two of Cups, in my experience as a reader, Two of Cups has come up for me to represent, really, it can represent also things in life that we are just attracted to, for one reason or another. Either, we are literally attracted to it physically, or we are attracted to it because we like the aesthetic of something, or we find that it resonates with us on some level. And again, this goes back to what I was saying yesterday in the Ace of Cups video about how the entire suit of cups really has to do with this idea of what the energy of union is all about, and how really the way of evaluating the quality of a union is really part of what was I going to say? I lost my thought. It really goes to the idea of how oh, there it is, how much something really resonates with who we are. I was saying yesterday how we're all narcissists, and how the worlds we create for ourselves really are reflections of ourselves, and the things that happen to us in life usually are representations of things that are happening within us at either the conscious or unconscious level. And so when we experience the Two of Cups, that sort of is connected to that idea for me, is that you are coming into contact with something that, for whatever reason, it tickles your fancy because it represents some aspect of you that you feel has either been missing, or sometimes it isn't even missing at all, because we haven't even hit the suit of swords yet, and so that idea of separation isn't really inherent in some of these cups cards, especially not in the two yet. And so it really perhaps is more attraction of yeah. I mean, it's a tricky thing because different schools say different things. There's always the saying opposites attract, but then there's also the saying like attracts like. And so in tarot and in life, I think both of those things do apply, which makes our job a lot more confusing. I think in tarot the stress is more that opposites attract, but in life it is true that like attracts like. I mean, that's just, there's no denying that. But with the Two of Cups, in the card itself, we do have the two royal dolphins, as they are called, and the dolphins, the fish on this card, are representative of alchemy, really. The dolphins are alchemical symbols, and one is solar. The one on the left, is it? Yes. Oh my, it's all faded in this card. But technically, the one on the left has a golden eye, and the one on the right has a female, has a lunar silver eye. Okay, so the one on the left is masculine, and the one on the right is feminine. So what he is depicting for us in the Two of Cups is this idea of the royal marriage that he talks about a lot, and of course that in and of itself is an alchemical idea, the royal marriage of Sol and Luna coming together, and so that clearly is the idea of attraction of opposites. And that is essentially what we are getting at, that the natural idea expressed by the cup suit, because of course this is still the number 2, we have not descended far enough down in the tree of life, and the number 2 is about really trying to get the most pure, basic idea of the element as in existence. Because the ace, as we talked about before yesterday, doesn't technically exist. And it isn't until the 2 that we get more of an actual sense of that element in its purest, most ideological sense. So the cups, in their most ideological sense, are expressed by the Two of Cups and are understood as love. Now, the other cool thing that I've read before, and this is not an observation that I have made myself, but if you'll notice, there are 10 streams of water flowing out of the 2 cups, which is kind of cool because the number 10, of course, represents the totality of existence. And so this card, in its imagery, is expressing the idea that love is the foundation of all things, and that love is inherent in all things, which is a really beautiful little statement for a minor arcana card. And yeah, that's really about it. Venus in Cancer is a very gentle, very benign confluence of energy. Venus likes to be in Cancer. Venus is very sweet, very loving in Cancer, a little shy and a little guarded, but also generally just very, very pleasant, very sweet. I think the sweet is really the best word, I think, for Venus in Cancer. And sensitive, there's empathy there and understanding. And that's about it, so when I get that in readings, it really depends. It's one of those cards that I think really depends on the context of what you're reading. If the person is asking for a relationship-based reading, clearly the card is going to have something to do with an attraction to an actual person. But if it's a reading about work, or career, you might not necessarily want to look at the Two of Cups that way. It could represent even a working relationship, a strong working connection in that case. It can also represent, being attracted to a different aspect of the job that the person hasn't necessarily worked with yet. If they're eyeing a promotion or something in an aspect of that career that, they might feel is better for them or more attractive to them, the Two of Cups can also represent that. So you got to be a little careful with the Two of Cups, I find, and that really applies for a lot of the cards of the supernal triangle, because the whole supernal triangle is designed to be kind of a little erring on the side of vague, particularly numbers 1 and 2. 3 is when we start getting a little bit more definition, of course, given the nature of Bina. But that's really about it. All right, so hope this helps, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the 3 of Cups. Thank you again, and bye-bye.